Let's go ahead and start F&A committee. Will somebody take note of who's here? Or did you online?
Tina's online.
All right. Tina, if you'll take note. Thank you. And I'm rejoining. Oh, go ahead and move to approval of the agenda. Are there any additions, questions in regards to the agenda? Any objection to the agenda as presented? All right, we'll consider the agenda approved as presented. At this time, I'd like to take public comments. Are there any members of the public or staff in the council chambers wishing to make a comment before the committee? All right, seeing none, and please be advised those online. You can either email the council or city clerk and we'll get those, your public comments. That way we do not take them live online. All right, with that, we'll move on to minutes, approval of the minutes dated October 8th, 2024. Are there any questions or revisions in regards to the minutes? I reviewed, I have none. So unless there's objections, we'll take the minutes as presented as approved. All right, they are approved. Let's go on to consideration of claims report dated October 28th, 2024. Let it be known, I've reviewed my email. I have no questions from any council members that I've seen at this stage. Does the committee have any questions in regards to the warrants?
No.
Unless there are objections, we'll take the claims report as presented as approved. So be it. Let's move on to the agenda bills. Agenda bill 24-104, 2025 salary schedule for non-represented management and professional employees.
Hello, good evening, council. Thank you for having me here today. So before you is the 2025 salary schedule for non-represented management professional employees. This is something that council would commonly see towards the end of the year, and subsequently with the budget passed, we've decided to bring it here in October. What is before you tonight is three different options. The first option would include a COLA increase for MMP employees of 2.68%. Option number 2 would include a 3.5% COLA increase, and then option number 3 would include a 3.63% COLA increase. Now, just to go through the options with you before you tonight, option number 1 is a 2.68% COLA increase. And the reason why this is an option is because that is what we had incorporated into the 25-26 biennial budget. As we were preparing a personnel forecast for 25 and 26, we were pulling data from the King County Economic Forecast in March of 2024 to incorporate that data. Subsequently, when we get that into the personnel workbook for the most part to help us forecast what those personnel expenses are going to look like, we would then incorporate those expenses into each department's expenditure request, which then made it into the 25-26 biennial budget. So in essence, approving option number 1 here, selecting option number 1, would mean that we would match up with the budget with 25 and 26. And so consequently, we wouldn't have to bring back a budget amendment next year towards you or for you. Option number 2 includes a 3.5% COLA increase. This is in alignment with a couple of the unions, both the Teamsters Union as well as the Fire IAFF union, basically. And it's been typically a tradition of past practice in this city to basically base the M&P COLA off of what the other unions are receiving, or the majority of unions of what they're receiving. And so consequently, a 3.5% COLA would equal what the Teamsters Union is receiving, as well as the IAFF is receiving as well. The 3.63% COLA, option number 3, basically represents the actual June of 2023 to June of 2024 CPIW for the Seattle-Tacoma Bellevue area. So as I mentioned in option number 1, that was a forecast of what we thought the CPIW would have been for the year from King County. When you actually go through actuals, and those actuals are not released to us until August of basically this year, it was really, instead of 2.68%, it was really 3.63%. In addition, most of our neighboring municipalities are planning on COLAs between 3.5% and 4.5% for non-represented staff. And really approving, say, a COLA of 3.63% would help to protect the purchasing power of MMP employees and keep up with the COLAs proposed in municipal labor market. So we wouldn't be necessarily losing ground to the market. We would ideally be keeping up with the market and what they're providing overall to their employees. When it comes to budget impacts, we know that option number 1 reflects what's currently in the budget. Option number 2, which is the 3.5% COLA, would equal an increase of $31,000 over the budget, which would mean having to bring back a budget amendment next year, using excess cash balances across all the funds basically to support that. The impact to the general fund for option number 2 is roughly $24,000 in total above and beyond our budget. And then option number 3 isn't really that much different for an option number 2. With a 3.63% COLA across all funds, the city would have to pay about $36,000 more than it currently budgeted. And the impact on the general fund would be $27,000. And so I guess with that said, those are the options that we have proposed to you. The proposed action includes 3 motions that council could select for this. And that's what we've got for you. Thank you.
Oh.
Sure.
Go ahead, Councilman Schultz.
Thanks. So the goal that we set last year in terms of looking at the comp studies and everything was basically to do the catch up, keep up, right? But I think that the information that I would like to have going into the discussion at full council would be to know exactly what the other municipalities are doing. I understand that there was a line that was saying that they were kind of in between 3.5 and 4.5%. But if we could know more specifically which cities are doing what so that we can have a better frame of reference looking for that, that would be helpful to me personally.
Mhm.
And you'd indicated that this will be coming out of excess cash balance and that we'll have to determine once we get a little bit further into the biennium as to whether it can be absorbed or whether we'd have to take it from excess cash balances.
There's potentially some savings that the departments may achieve over the next year that could help to support this. So that's certainly a possibility.
Okay, thank you.
But at this stage, if we do it, those savings haven't materialized. You're gonna take it out of.
Not yet,
excess.
yes.
Oh, they kept doing this.
Sorry,
City administrator.
just asking for a little clarification. Would you like to focus that information on the comp cities that we used in that study?
Please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Johnson?
I really do appreciate the messaging that could come from the past practice that the management of the people that they're overseeing kind of are scaling with the people that they are overseeing, going for other options. I think sends kind of a confusing message about how we decide to set COLAs. So that's just one thought. Oh, one other thing. Chair.
Go ahead.
So then for tonight, is the goal for us to pick an option to forward to council or for us to just kind of talk about it, give feedback, but we would still send all 3 to council?
So my intent would be I'd prefer that council make the decision.
Yeah. Okay, I agree.
And just for logistics in my state, I may make the motion as option 1. And then as the discussion goes on, make motion to move it to whatever option we choose.
Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's more appropriate a council discussion than us to make decision on MP.
Yep.
And needless to say, non-consent.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, is that good?
Mhm.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you for the write-up. Very good. All right, with that, let's move on to Agenda Bill 2490, adoption of Snoqualmie Valley School District Capital Facilities Plan 2024-2029.
Hello, council members. I have Andrew Levin, our land use planning consultant here to walk you through our annual changes to the comp plan and to update the school impact fee ordinance.
Good evening. My name's Andrew Levins, and I've been assisting the Community Development Department implement some of the changes that we're looking at tonight in Agenda Bills 90 and 89 in the order that they appear in the packet. So the topic tonight is the updated school impact fees. These fees are generated by the school district based on a study of student generation rates of new construction within the school district. So only new construction will be paying these fees, and it's intended to shoulder their fair share cost of the additional students that new construction will be bringing to the district. It is not intended to make up for any deficiencies that may already exist in the school district's facilities. So tonight, Agenda Bill 90 is the agenda bill that would adopt the Snoqualmie Valley School District's capital facility plan for the next 5 years into the city's comprehensive plan by reference. And then Agenda Bill 89 is the agenda bill that would modify the the city of Snoqualmie's impact fee ordinance within the municipal code. These are split into two because the comprehensive plan is updated by resolution and the Snoqualmie Municipal Code is updated by ordinance. The summary of the changes as they relate to the city and its code are essentially that the cost for new construction of the impact fee for new construction for a single family residence is increasing about $900 from approximately $9,200 to $10,100. And the impact fee to construct a multifamily residence is decreasing about $200 from approximately $6,400 to approximately $6,200. These impact fees, if adopted, would become effective in January of the new year.
And again, this is the school district's calculation. You adopt one, you pretty well adopt the other. It's a pass through for us, all intents and purposes. So other than that, any, Councilor Christian?
I just had a question and it doesn't need to be answered tonight because I understand that the folks who may not have the answer are not here. But my question is when they were looking at the growth that they're anticipating coming from, whether they use the number that was originally given to us by Commerce that we're required to basically plan for, or whether they used, for example, a reduced number such as the one that I believe we ended up with.
So it's based on the anticipated student generation rate within the district.
Yeah.
And the district is greater than just the city of Snoqualmie. So I'm not exactly sure precisely how that student generation rate is calculated.
They
But
had a table in there that showed that it was less than, 1%. And it looked like a multiplier. I just wondered which number they were using. It probably doesn't ultimately matter. It was just more a question that I was curious about.
sure, I can look into that for the council.
Interesting question. All right. Councilman Johnson.
I'm curious how much as like a dollar amount the school district would be not getting versus what they would have gotten if we hadn't adopted the for the mill site. I forgot the name of what it's called, but anyway, but they'd have to pay the school impact fees. And how
Was
much
it a
that
development
is.
agreement for the mill?
Yes, yeah. So I'm just wondering like what that difference is and how significant it is. And the reason I ask is I wonder if there are creative ways to make up the difference if it's a significant amount. If it's, I don't know, a couple $1,000s, that's probably not going to build you a new school, but depending on how much it is, if there are creative ways to make up that difference, or if that's something that school district would even want, I don't know. But that's kind of the purpose of the question.
Sure. I'm not sure about that right now, but I can look into what was agreed to as part of that development agreement.
There's just like, ballpark estimate, what would they have paid if we didn't do that
Mhm,
versus, obviously, we have done it.
mhm.
Yeah, it may wash out. It may wash out in the. And again, it's the school district, not just Snoqualmie. So you have to take what was taken off the table
Mhm.
for the mill district. And I suspect that's a very small percentage of the overall.
Right, yeah.
So
It's
you're
covered 600
probably
bucks.
twitching the needle and that's about it.
I was just curious.
Yeah, it's a good question.
And also Chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also considering that we could use it for other developments in the future for affordable housing and things. It could give me a sense kind of how to think about that impact a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely.
Any other questions? Move forward to council. And due to their nature, their non-consent.
No, it has to be because it's an ordinance.
All right, that takes our agenda bills. We're off into discussion. Upcoming agenda items. Is there intent to discuss those tonight or they're just there for put on the radar? Information only. Okay, so it's just awareness. All right, let's go ahead and review the agenda for next council. Roundtable at 6 o'clock for utility rate study. Okay, that was just gone over. Some, you may have seen some of that in Parks and Public Works. Additional information to come. We'll do roll call, pledge of allegiance, agenda approval, hearings, presentations, and appointments. At this stage, we have none of this planned for next week.
I'm not aware of any.
Okay.
Dina, we can advise, but I don't think so. The mayor's been out of town, so.
All right, we do at least have one presentation from the King County Library System. Love to see them. They do great service. And proclamation of Kindness Month. No relationship to the prior presentation. On the consent agenda, we have approved the city council minutes and approved the claims report. I thought we also said one of the Parks and Public Works
The
one.
improvement.
Which one was that?
113.
113. Can we also bring that one up under consent agenda? And then we'll have ordinance amendments, Snoqualmie Municipal Code, titles 14 to 50, amending Senate Bill 520, proposed action. Then we'll have Agenda Bill 102, revising the corporate boundary of the city of Snoqualmie to include portion of 384th. I believe both of those were read in prior.
Correct.
So we'll actually do motion to adopt, and we'll have the school impact fees. As we just discussed. Then we'll move into committee reports, public safety, Northeast King County Regional Public Safety Communications, NORCOM, a budget allocation.
Norcom should actually be up under consent as well.
Okay. Can we move Agenda Bill 24099 up under consent also? That'll leave public safety, no agenda items. Community development has no agenda items. Parks and Public Works has reclaimed water systems. Project update, reclaimed water system improvements, project amendment to RH2. And agreement with NH2 for 2025 stormwater comprehensive plan. Where'd he go? Thought we were gonna change that to systems
System
plan
plan,
to to avoid confusion. But please take note of that. And we moved 113 up above. From there, we'll go into finance administration and adoption of the school district capital facilities plan and salary schedule for non-represented managed employees, which we just discussed. Committee of the whole will have the legislative priority discussion. Go ahead.
Actually, you know what? I think it was under ordinances. Yep, never mind.
Yeah, one's an ordinance and one's a.
Yeah.
And we'll go in the mayor's report, committee liaison report and executive session. Are there any comments or go backs in regards to that?
I have one potentially, because I heard through my ear, for the most part, a conversation around the utility rate studies. So if there's an intended utility rate study for the council roundtable, the goal from the Parks and Public Works Committee was to actually bring back a presentation to them first before actually venturing into the full council for the most part with the updated scenarios presented to the Parks and Public Works Committee. So I would recommend removing from the roundtable agenda a utility rate study conversation for 6 o'clock, and then we would begin our normal council meeting at 7.
Okay, because yeah, if you remove that, there's nothing for. Staff, any objections to taking the roundtable off? All right, let's talk the roundtable off and we'll start at 7 o'clock, normal time.
Right.
Okay. All right, if no further discussion, we'll take, but I don't want to adjourn just yet. We'll take the agenda as modified in discussion and move that forward to council. Did want to take opportunity, any feedback in regards to the legislative priorities?
I recognize to speak.
Yeah, yeah.
We spoke about a number of things at public safety. I think that there was thoughts that we would talk about it again before coming to council. We talked about taking something off and then potentially adding other things on.
Okay.
As detailed as that is.
Details that is.
No, no changes from Community Development Committee.
Okay. I at least know the community center one, the dollar figures misquoted, so I gotta go back and change that. We're not asking that much from the state. Okay, and then hopefully in a couple of weeks, we'll know who to invite to a discussion and start encroaching in on that. Okay. All right, are there any other items for discussion before the committee tonight? If not, unless there are objections, we are adjourned. Hearing no objections, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.